The time is now 5:30. The date is May 19th, 2026. We will call to order the meeting for the Statesboro Mayor and Council. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Council Member Tangi Johnson.
Let us pray. Most heavenly and gracious Father, Lord, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for this city, this county, and this state. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather in this room today, we ask the Lord for wisdom to make sound decisions. We ask for understanding, dear Heavenly Father, and we ask for patience. Lord God, we just ask that you just continue to cover us and keep us. For it's in your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go down to agenda item 3, which is a presentation of a proclamation recognizing May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. The proclamation reads as follows. A proclamation by the Mayor and City Council of Statesboro, Georgia, National Public Works Week, May 17th through the 23rd, 2026. Rooted in service, powered by community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of people of the city of Statesboro. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector. We are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the city of Statesboro to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now, therefore, I, Jonathan McCullough, Mayor of the City of Statesboro, do hereby designate the week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in the City of Statesboro and urge citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Statesboro to be affixed this 19th day of May 2026. Let's give our public works a round of applause. We have our representatives to come forward. Come on, to talk.
Mayor, do you want the mayor and council? Do you want the council first, or you gonna do this one?
Yeah, we want the council to come on. My man, council. Yeah. You know what it is. Now you want to have a home. You gotta get that sound. It's jazzy now.
That works.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Or there's somebody else taking a picture. There we go. There's some other folks taking a picture. And it too, huh? Good? Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
We'll move down to agenda item 3B, which is recognition and public presentation from Dr. LaSara Mitchell, recognizing graduating members of the Youth Council. Dr. Mitchell, if you would.
Mayor and Council, this afternoon we gather in this chamber not only to recognize academic achievement, but to honor a remarkable legacy of leadership, civic engagement, advocacy, and service. These graduates represent the charter graduating class of the Statesboro Youth Council, 2023 through 2026. Young leaders who have helped shape the very foundation of this youth council through their commitment, vision, and unwavering dedication to the city of Statesboro and its people. The cords they receive tonight are more than ceremonial colors. They represent the values these students have carried with excellence throughout their journey. Navy blue symbolizes loyalty, leadership, and excellence. White represents civic engagement and a heart for community. Gold reflects academic achievement, perseverance, and high standards. Cobalt blue signifies youth advocacy, innovation, and the courage to use their voices to inspire change. These students have not simply participated, they have led. They have served at community events, mentored peers, advocated for youth voice, supported city initiatives, and demonstrated what it means to lead with integrity and purpose. Through countless volunteer hours, leadership trainings, community projects, and civic engagement opportunities, they have become examples for future generations to follow. They have traveled across cities and states, collaborating with leaders, organizations, and youth from diverse communities while representing the city of Statesboro with professionalism, excellence, humility, and pride. From conferences and leadership summits to civic engagement opportunities and service initiatives, they carried the culture, voice, and values of Statesboro wherever they went. Even this year, they made history of their own, helping shape the culture of youth leadership in our city while proving that young people are not waiting for change someday. They are leading change right now. As charter graduates, they will forever hold a special place in the history of the Statesboro Youth Council. Their fingerprints are embedded in its culture, its growth, and future. Tonight we celebrate Eden Chavers, attending Georgia Southern University, pursuing
Congratulations.
And they have a city pin in representation of the leadership and academic success.
Zamaya Colbert, attending Fort Valley State University, majoring in elementary education. Ja'Cory Cope, attending Kennesaw State University, majoring in cyber security.
Congratulations.
Grace Huff Colbert, attending Georgia Southern University, majoring in fashion merchandising. Jamerson Hughes, attending Full Sail University, majoring in information technology.
Our junior man.
Isley Simpkins, attending Spelman College, majoring in economics on a pre-med track.
Feeling all sensitive.
To our graduates, thank you for your service, leadership, sacrifice, and commitment to this city and community. You have shown us that youth leadership is not simply the future, it is the present. To our parents, thank you for entrusting us with your scholars, for your support and sacrifices. To our mayor and council, thank you for your support of this youth council and making it a reality. Youth, as you step into the next chapter, may you continue to lead boldly, serve humbly, advocate courageously, and pursue excellence in every space you enter. Congratulations, Charter graduates. We'll take a picture. Yes, please.
Council.
And I'll take this back.
We'll put y'all at the center. Lane, you will get us organized. We're gonna do it like in seconds. Chris. Is Rachel here? We're gonna be parents.
Charter parents.
That's right, that's right.
We're adjusting some stuff. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Take one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 2 minutes. And take one.
We're gonna do families. Yeah, how you gonna do it? We're gonna hold. We're gonna take 5 out. Isley, you stay. The rest of the group go. Council members, y'all stay. Y'all can move forward.
Each graduate will
You want to?
The sergeant needs to be in the picture.
Yeah. You see your van?
Y'all step out, let's use all this space.
We need to center this a little bit more. Slide it up a little bit. All right, Lane. Let's get it situated. Yeah. Let's get it situated. Come on, you got the sorrow? Yeah, we got that. Yeah, we got that.
You should have been in the list.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Council members, can you get this one? Is that better, Mr.?
Right where it's separate just a little, so that there's a little more space for the council, yeah.
Changes behind the bar.
Ms. Martin?
That, no, the other one.
Ms. Martin,
To the center,
this way,
and Tangy come this way. Mayor come forward, John come forward.
I can't go too, I can't move too far.
Okay.
When you ready,
All right.
show me.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Hold on. Let these other folks get that picture. Wait, look, we got it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
This bar.
Please stay where you are.
Samaya. Let's do Samaya and her family next.
Where's her family?
Come on.
How you doing? You doing good?
I think the name. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, next.
Hold on. Anybody else? If y'all stay, and so we make sure we get step right back. So we have those that want to take pictures. Don't move too until you.
Sorry.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Who we got next?
Who we got?
I got you. I got you. Come on. I got you.
What's going on?
Thank you. Proud of you. Thank you.
We're gonna celebrate all of it. That's right. I ain't bust up the family.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Don't move.
One more, right?
Don't move. Everybody good? Everybody got that picture?
Hold on, you got it?
Okay, thank you.
All right, who we got next?
Grace.
Okay.
Give me my crew.
How y'all doing? Y'all doing good?
Your mom will be
I got somebody calling Grace.
Yeah, get the window.
Mayor?
Come on this way.
And John.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Stay right there. You got it?
That's it? Okay.
Thank y'all.
Come on, get on in here.
When you go down, just come on
You know we're gonna take a picture. That's all right.
This one?
Mayor.
Doris directing.
I'll turn this way.
No, just slide over.
Just slide over.
Move your head.
Right here?
John.
Put John in that.
We're gonna put John on right here? Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on.
Got it.
There we go.
Congratulations, sir.
James.
Good morning.
Jameson.
June the mayor. How you doing? There we go. What's going on?
We got a giant.
There we go.
Councilman Riggs.
Man, this is
Let's
land
have you.
fast right now.
Well,
I remember y'all was a lot shorter than that.
Councilman Riggs, can you come?
Good.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
There you go. That's good stuff. Okay, here we go.
That's everybody.
You ain't got it.
That's your seat. Bless you.
That's always so. That is, that's why we do what we do. For our young people within this community, those of us that's above a certain age, it's our job to prepare better futures for them. So, Dr. Mitchell, we want to give you a round of applause for the work that you've done. She and Demetrius, where Demetrius at? Demetrius, they work with these kids every step of the way. I saw Jacoby come in. Where's Jacoby at? Jacoby, we went to an event and Jacoby down there helping out. And so we just want to say my bad. we just want to say thank you to the staff, thank you to this community. I know I saw Attorney Nubia Jallo in here earlier. Grice Connect and their family. There's just a whole host of people across this community that makes that program so special. I know we had individuals work with the police department, HR, the fire department, multiple departments across the city as well as throughout the community. So thank y'all so much. Y'all know, if y'all don't know anything else, I'm very passionate about the young people in our community. And I just want to tip our hats to that as well. And Jameson, one day I want you to graduate from being junior mayor to being the mayor. And so we want to work to make that future happen. All right. And so I think that's it for public number 3. We're going to go down to agenda item 4, which are public comments in regards to the agenda. Are there any public comments in regards to the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, and then we're going to go down to agenda item 5, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the approval of the minutes from our May the 5th, 2026 council meeting, and then consideration of a motion to set the date for a public hearing for the proposed City of Statesboro fiscal year 2027 budget for June the 2nd, 2026 during the regular scheduled council meeting. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we'll move down to agenda item 6. Ms. Barr, if you will.
Agenda item number 6 is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application B 260401. This is Southeastern Development Associates requesting a variance from section 2.2.9, table 2.2.9B, dimensional standard for mixed-use district, which require a 25-foot maximum building setback. The proposed project for a new grocery store is requesting a maximum 675-foot setback to accompany all the parking required for this type of multi-use project at 6850 Cypress Lake Road and 7406 Veterans Memorial Parkway, tax parcel 1MS 33,023,002. And we're going to do them together. Justin, both together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then application B is 260402, the same entity, Southeastern Development Associates, request a variance from UDC section 2.2.9H4 to allow parking in front of the store at 6850 Cypress Lake Road and 7406 Veterans Memorial Parkway. The mayor has recused himself from this item, so I will ask Justin to share with us about this.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. We'll talk about these two variance
Sorry,
requests.
please.
we need to open the
Oh.
hearing.
Oh, okay, yes, before.
Yeah.
So, I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is open. Justin, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. So these, this is actually unfortunately a continuing issue that we're seeing in our ordinance with that maximum 25-foot setback. So this is something that the council has seen on a number of other projects that we've had locally. This is no exception to, it's just not quite enough for the type of construction that they're looking to do. The other item that they're looking to do is to actually get parking in front of their location. So the way the MX district works, it's generally to provide parking in the back of buildings so you have more of a street presence. Because of the phasing associated with this project, that's not really something that can work. So if we move on, you'll see these two parcels here. These are the parcels that are adjacent to Whispering Pines Boulevard, as well as Cypress Lake and all those locations. You'll see that that is in that developing neighborhood residential area. And you'll see that MX zoning that is applied to that location. So the design as they've provided us, and this is actually being reviewed by staff now for land disturbance approval. It does show that there are a number of out parcels here, but those out parcels don't necessarily impact the needs of their parking because they don't know what's going to be on those out parcels. So the main anchor building, which is the Kroger, is the one that we're really looking at where that parking is located. So if you look, you'll see Cypress Lake, it's all wooded, that area. You'll see it facing the east on Cypress Lake as well. Here you'll see the location on the right of way facing to the northwest, and then you'll see facing the east going towards, actually that's the southeast, but it's going towards the bypass on this property. Going back to this particular item, you'll note that we do have a couple of conditions that are associated with it. So if you look, we do recommend approval, first of all, with a concurrence from our planning commission, but the conditions we've enumerated are the approval of the variance does not grant the right to build without appropriate permitting. And the second one is actually to really maintain the conditions that were applied on the rezoning, which is the submission of a traffic study, the concurrency for the residential that will be on Whispering Pines Boulevard, those types of things, and the wetland plan. So we wanted to ensure that those particular items are maintained in this, and we do believe that this is an appropriate use for this location. The representative for the applicant is here, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. This being a public hearing, is there anyone here who wants to speak for this request? If so, raise your hand and identify. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. I'm Steve Rushing, an attorney here in Statesboro. My client, Daniel Holloway, is the principal for Southeast Development Associate. He sends his regrets. He got called away last minute and has asked me to fill in for him, so I'll try to do so without speaking too much. Justin did a great job, I think, introducing it. We love the MX zone, don't get me wrong. It is, I think, a great zone for the city, but the design standards, are applied to all the lots, whether it's a 1/4 acre lot or our 28 acre lot. And of course, a 25-foot setback on a 28 acre parcel, it just doesn't work, obviously. Now, maybe on one of our out parcels, that would work, a 25-foot setback, but on this size project with a grocery store going on it, it just, design standards, it works best in the back, which then, with a 25-foot setback, they generally would not allow parking within that 25-foot. So that's why we're putting them both together. By going back and putting our grocery store on the back of our 28 acres, obviously we're well beyond the 25 feet. And of course, we would be putting our parking within that area between our building. As you see in the concept plan, it just, it works well for the traffic flow, but it does anticipate these out parcels. And they too may, they may can even meet these stringent design standards of a 25-foot setback. But when you look at this whole project, and as Justin indicated, our focus is on the grocery store building. Obviously, it's got a setback further than 25 feet. So we agree with the variance standards of review that were submitted by the staff, where they came to the conclusion that those standards were met for our 2 variances. The Planning Commission unanimously agreed and is recommending approval, and we just ask that you adopt that recommendation and grant both of our 2 variances so we can continue this project. I'll stick around for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rushing.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here who would like to speak for this request? Is there anyone here who would like to speak against this request? Is there anyone else here who would like to speak for or against the request? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to close the public hearing.
To move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is now closed. Discussion, council members. Any questions of the developer? So I had one question from what I was reading. It's a county road, but our requirements say there has to be a sidewalk. So what's gonna happen with that?
So as an arterial road, it is a requirement in our ordinance that is built out. Even a portion of this project will have to be approved by the county in terms of access rights for that. But that's something that is a part of this development process. But it is a requirement that we have in our ordinance for.
So we will have a sidewalk there.
Kiwanis Road is a similar example to where we've had to do this. It's technically not our road, but the subdivisions that have built out there have had to place those sidewalks as well. So it's just part of the requirements.
Okay. So it was just noted for information. Yes,
Yes,
there
ma'am.
will be a sidewalk.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or concerns from council? Then, I'll ask if there's a motion. We will approve the variance request.
So moved. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. And we will welcome back our mayor.
We'll move down to agenda item 7. Agenda item 7 states that this is a public hearing in consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 26-0403. Bel Air Estates Incorporated requests a zoning map amendment on the corner of Veterans Memorial Parkway and Highway 80 from R15 to mixed use district. The zoning map amendment request is for 2 parcels and a total of 6.17 acres and is proposed for multi-use commercial development. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Justin, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Justin, if you will give us some insight on this.
Absolutely, Mayor. So this particular piece of property is an interesting piece of property. It is a wooded lot that is actually on the corner of the bypass and Highway 80. If you know, that is a very commercial corridor. It has some strange layout within our zoning map, and I'll explain that as I go forward. So if you look at the parcel, the original design did include the Weichert Realty location. It is south of the square that is going to be on your east. That is no longer a part of this project. So that's something that is no longer here. The initial submittal for sketch plan did show a multi-use commercial, but that is no longer the case. Now it has been scaled back to a traditional restaurant. If you look, you'll see that this is in our conservation area amongst an activity regional center, which is why I mentioned that it's a kind of strange thing in terms of our future land use map. That stated, the location associated with it and the identified wetlands on the property leads us to believe that the use would be appropriate in terms of the zoning, as long as the wetlands and associated area are protected. If you look, you'll see the zoning is the R15, which it shares with the Bel Air neighborhood. One of the things that I'll note is to the north of it, you'll see R2, where there's a townhome subdivision that has been approved for development. It is kind of stalled out now, but we expect that project to eventually materialize. So we're just looking to really look at that zoning on these 2 parcels. This is the original plan, so as you'll note, Lane, can you zoom in on that? So you'll note there was always a restaurant component to it, but there was additional stores that were listed here initially. That is no longer the case, and I do have the revised plan. It should be in your packet as well as in this presentation. So So you'll see the property. This is off of the bypass. Really, both of these are in that general area. You'll see on your right that is from Highway 80, but I mean, all of this area is wooded. It's in that little corner tucked by the Weigert Realty. You'll see the remaining commercial in every direction, basically, surrounding this property. So we believe it makes sense. And this is the revised copy. So those wetlands, from my understanding, have been delineated and they are identified on the northern portion of that parcel. It's a fairly large restaurant. If you'll notice, there's not a drive-through component to it, so hopefully not chicken. But we are absolutely looking at this being a feasible project. There are some things that need to be resolved in terms of the traffic, because I do know that area is a concerning space for traffic, but that is something that we're hoping to cover within the conditions for this. In saying that, staff does recommend approval for this project. The conditions that were agreed upon by the Planning Commission are that the applicant may not receive a land disturbance permit prior to the submission of a traffic study, which should hopefully provide them some opportunities to do something good there. And the applicant must provide a wetland protection plan outlining any potential wetland disturbances. The sketch plan, while not binding, does not show any impact on those wetlands, but I will let the applicant discuss that if there are no other questions for me.
Thank you, Joseph. Was there anyone here to speak for this request?
Nathan Brown, Husky Bell Engineers. I'd like to thank staff for their recommendation for approval on the rezoning on this item. Also like to thank Planning and Zoning 2 weeks ago for their recommendation for approval on this item. We had a right start meeting with the city about a month ago and presented the original concept. Obviously there was some concern for the traffic, and so when we left that right start meeting, we kind of went back to the drawing board, and then the team that we represent, they went back to their client base, and so we kind of redrafted a new model, and now the plan is for a single-use sit-down restaurant. This is no longer a drive-through, a gas station, or anything like that. Like Justin said, it's no coffee and no chicken. So instead of an all-day traffic situation, now we're looking at lunch and dinner. We acknowledge the traffic situation. Conditions per staff was that we do a traffic study and we do a wetlands delineation. We have already initiated a traffic study, so they're presently, as we speak, doing counts. That'll be turned over to the traffic engineers to do the official traffic study. The wetlands have been delineated by an environmental company, so those have already been incorporated into our plan, and we have zero impacts to those wetlands right now. Not only do we have zero impacts to those wetlands, MX zoning requires a buffer against residential neighborhoods. So that buffer is in place, but the wetlands are also in a place to where we will not have a minimum buffer against the residential neighborhood. Those wetlands are going to add to that buffer. So we're actually going to have a buffer 2 to 3 times the size of required by ordinance on that site. And again, there's no impacts to any wetlands right now planned. And again, this is for rezoning. We acknowledge that, LDA plan has to be done, and we'll be working hand in hand with the city of Statesboro with the traffic study and engineering plans, storm drainage, all the above. Appreciate your time. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open this up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'm looking at the sketch, and this is my neighborhood. I rode over and looked today, Mr. Brown. So it looks like the proposed entrance would be coming off where Bel Air Drive comes out, what used to be a podiatrist office, and now it's Weigert Realty. That will still be there. Y'all were talking about between that and the bypass, and then between that and up into Bel Air, the wooded part that's there now is where the restaurant would go. So I can't tell from the sketch, but the entrance, you can't come from the Veterans Memorial, so it would have to come off Bel Air Drive, that residential street.
Yes, ma'am. To the south of that drawing, that connection is to Bel Air Drive.
Yeah, thank you, John. And so the wetlands I don't know if the crosshatched or just the little oblong picture on the sketch is where the wetlands are delineated. Are you talking about leaving all of the wooded as buffer that's in the wetlands? That basically half of this property would still remain wooded?
Yes, ma'am. Anything that's wetlands that will not be touched.
That's what I'm saying, I'm not sure from looking at the sketch, so it is basically half of the property, the top half of the property?
It is a large portion of the property. So what you see in the kind of light shaded area with the little hatch symbols in it, those are all wetlands.
Okay, and is there still going to be a pond needed to cut some trees and make a pond?
Well, yes, ma'am. So as part of the development and part of us working with engineering and stormwater, we had to detain that water before it's dispersed. So somewhere on site, there will be a detention pond.
Okay, so Justin, when we do the variance, help me be straight about what's still allowed. And we're getting these assurances that's the intent, but what's actually allowed if we allow the variance, if we rezone it.
Yes, ma'am. So if you were to rezone it, anything that can be built within that zoning district, so that could be this restaurant as noted, but it could end up being a gas station or a number of other things. The requirements on those wetlands are still a part of this project. So if they sell this to somebody, that's part of the rezone. So we're going to have to hold them to it. It goes with the land. So I mean, realistically, any number of things could materialize here, but they'd be subject to the restrictions that we place on them.
Thank you, guys.
All right, any further questions from council? All right, is there a motion to approve with staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Then we're down to agenda item 8, which is a public hearing, and consideration of a motion to approve, item 8A and 8B. 8A is, application 526-04-05, making signs request a variance to section 2.53H1 to allow an increase in the height of the flagpole from the allowable 40 feet to 50 feet at 581 Northside Drive for Academy Sport and Outdoors. Item 8B, excuse me, is application 526-04-06, making signs request a variance to Ulysses section sign 2 district dimensional standards table 2.5.3-6 to allow an increase of building square footage from 222.6 square feet to 537.7 square feet at 581 Northside Drive East for Academy Sports and Outdoors. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, if you will, Justin, give us some insight on this.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. So there are 2 items that are being considered here, and unfortunately, I couldn't do an administrative variance on the flagpole. It was 2 feet larger than I was able to administratively bring before you. The applicant is looking to have the American flag displaying above the building, but it's a fairly tall building, so they just needed that additional height. The actual building signage for this particular piece of property, because of the distance from the right-of-way, it made sense for them to apply for a variance to get the appropriate signage on this piece of property.
Okay.
So if you look at it, you can see that distance. There's really a group of stores that are in front of this building, and then there's a significant parking lot that goes pretty far back here. You'll see this in our activity regional center, so it's a very busy area of the city. And you'll also see the zoning associated with it. It's an existing building, so there's no concerns on the setback. So, Lane, if you could zoom in on that little bubble there. Can you see the bubble? So that little bubble there is where the building signage will be. It is a fairly large sign, and then you'll also see, really can't tell on this, unfortunately, but there's also a location for where that flag will be displayed on this track. If you look, you'll see the actual signage that they are putting for Academy Sports here, and you'll also see the location of the flag on your top portion of the photo here. And you'll see the height of the building does trigger really a need for them to increase that flagpole height. They will have additional signage on the road. I wanted to include that just so that you are aware of it. It'll go along with the multi-tenant sign that's already there. And it's the biggest store in the area, so it gets the top billing, I guess. And this is just an additional photo of that flagpole as they are requesting it. So if you see I mean, we are on the parking lot taking this photo to the building, so it's still fairly far back. And then on the opposite side of it, you can see Northside Drive. So there's a distance that you really have to look if you're looking for the Academy Sports, although I don't know how difficult that'll be for anyone to find if they're looking for it. And here's an up close of the actual building. And you'll see it's not only a building that's far back, but it is a significantly large building. And we've had examples like this not far on Northside, as a matter of fact. Council did approve a fairly large sign on the bypass for the Franklin dealership. So this is not unusual. Staff does recommend approval of both of these variances. The Planning Commission did concur with that recommendation, and with only one condition is that approval of the variance does not grant the right to install signage without appropriate permitting. The permitting is actually sitting upstairs awaiting approval this evening. So if it is approved tonight, then we'll go ahead and finish processing those documents. If there are no questions of me, the applicant is here, and I'll be glad to answer however I can.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Good evening. I'm Scott with Making Signs here representing Academy Sports, Council, Mayor. My customer Academy is just asking for a little bit larger signage since they're so far back and have that visibility issue from the main drag, and just a little bit higher on the flagpole. Justin does a great job explaining it, so I kind of feel like I'm just double talking now. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there's no motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, can I ask Justin, this sign would be on top of the building, it's just gonna be bigger than usual because of being so far back from the highway?
So if you look at
I
the,
couldn't tell from the
Yes,
little
ma'am.
sketch.
so if you look, can you zoom in on that top photo line? So you'll see it's not like floating over the building, it's on the front fascia of the building. So it's on the front of the building.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That was my only question, thank you.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there was none, is there a motion to approve the staff recommendations, both items 8A and 8B?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 9, which is a public hearing and first reading of ordinance 2026-01, ordinance amending section 2.4.14 of the Unified Development Code to create zoning classification requirements for the development of technological facilities and data centers. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kane, if you agree.
Mayor, Council,
So I got Kane down here.
this is an ordinance amendment to section 2414, and it sets out the requirements for the data centers that is proposed before us today. I believe Justin has more details.
Okay, Justin.
So as Kay mentioned, this would be adding a section to the Unified Development Code. This is something that we have discussed quite a bit in this setting, and we actually did talk about this a bit at the work session. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of this variant, or excuse me, not variance, this version of the ordinance amendment. So we are just requesting approval this evening.
Any some further discussion?
Who wants to speak for and against?
Yeah.
Public hearing?
Yeah, I'm looking at Kane. Is there anything we need to add to that?
Subject to discussion.
Okay. All right, I'm just making sure before we move on.
Right.
Go ahead.
I just want to be clear. So we have an ordinance that was presented to the planning board. And earlier today, we had a discussion in the work session. And in that work session, the council indicated that they wanted an ordinance that was more restrictive than the one that was approved by the planning board. And so I guess from from a procedural standpoint, a lot of the folks in the public weren't at that meeting. So they would not be aware of what the council discussed during the work session. And so, Mayor and members of the council, I think it might be of a benefit to you and to the public, just for Justin to talk about what the modifications might be that, versus having a hearing on the original document, but have a hearing on what council feels most comfortable with, so that then if the public wants to respond, they will be responding to something that you might consider.
All right, Justin.
Yes, sir. So in looking at potential modifications based on conversations with members of the council as well as our Green and Borough Commission, there are a number of changes that would be outlined. One of those changes would be an update to the definition for hyperscale facilities. It basically would add, we would still maintain a definition to determine what they are, but we would just clarify that it shall be unlawful for these facilities to be constructed in the city. So that would cap all data center sizes to that 50-acre requirement as listed. This would also amend sections of the ordinance that specify where hyperscale facilities could go. They were initially listed as only being able to go into the light industrial and the highway-oriented commercial districts. Since they are no longer authorized anywhere, the normal areas for a special use permit that a data center could be applied to will be here. Additionally, there would be I don't want to say a jettison of language, but we would remove language related to the specifics on reuse water. There was a section that spoke directly to reuse water for hyperscale facilities. Because hyperscale facilities would not be authorized, then that section would go away. We also had an area that outlined the setbacks and buffers, associated with hyperscale facilities, and that will also go away. The last thing that would change would be a recommendation to utilize the ambient condition associated with the DBC versus the DBA when it comes to noise in the sound study. So those items would be what would change. Primary items. There's also the inclusion of things like bioswales and different items that would allow developers to help improve permeability on a site. But for the most part, that would jettison really the language related to hyperscale facilities.
Okay. Thank you, Justin. That's what I was waiting on. Yeah. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request?
I do have a question.
Yeah, please come forward, state your name.
Jason McCoy. I'm curious about power consumption associated with these. Georgia residents are already experiencing issues with increased rates through Georgia Power with everything that's been going on with Savannah River facilities and other facilities. Data centers are power sucks. They consume enormous amounts of power, enormous amounts of water. Is there anything within that ordinance that is going to control how that power usage comes? Are they going to have to bring their own power plants and provide their own power? Or are they going to be using on-grid power? And how is, you already mentioned that the water consumption was reused water?
Yeah, closed loop systems.
Okay. So that was my other concern, was whether it was an open or closed loop system. But I didn't see anything that mentioned power consumption and whether that was a grid or provided by the vendors who were building these facilities.
Okay. I can answer that. The updated state policy actually addresses that. Data centers have to provide their own infrastructure as it relates to power. Again, that is something that it cannot necessarily be regulated at the local level, but it is something that the state has already addressed. So we feel pretty comfortable with that. And if you notice that we did make a significant change to what was passed by the Planning Commission, and that's to maintain the integrity of our community while still having the opportunity to benefit from a quote-unquote edge data center. That's why we reduced the size of it from, I think it was recommended at 200 acres We reduced that 200 acres down to 50 acres to really focus in on those edge data centers. It is my thought process, and what I'm about to say is not the thought process of the council. What I believe is that with the advancement of the technologies that we're seeing as it relates to data centers, is that there is a demand for them to do more with less space. So I think over time, what we will see is the footprint of those facilities shrinking over time. And so I think this better prepares Statesboro to not just take advantage of an opportunity today, but position it well for future opportunities with edge data centers. Okay. All right. Anyone else for or against? All right.
I think,
Yes.
I forgot. I gave it one.
Come forward and state your name.
Huh? I think, okay, so Jason said something about solar, powering it with solar. This is I just Googled cons of having the data centers.
Okay.
And one of the things they, if you use renewable energy, then you don't have to worry about so much of the air pollution and the noise pollution because it's quieter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a thing. The noise, maybe the noise would be better. Have y'all been to the data hub at Georgia Southern?
Yeah, we actually went to go visit some in the Atlanta area. We had the opportunity to visit the Meta plant, which is a hyperscale facility, as well as a few of the edge data centers. At each location that we went to, noise was not an issue. For the hyperscale plant that we went to, we was actually able to stand at the border of it, and what we could hear from that plant was a lot less than what the cars was coming. As a matter of fact, we couldn't even get an ambient noise from the hypercenter. When we went to the edge centers that's throughout the Atlanta area, we had the opportunity to visit two or three that we visited? There was three of those that we visited. And so the ones that we're really looking at are the ones that look like office buildings. But I literally put my ear on the building to see if I could hear anything. And even with my ear on the building, I could not hear anything. But I think it's beneficial for our community to kind of stay in the lane that we are as far as looking at the opportunities for the smaller edge centers. I think that our infrastructure capacity can facilitate the needs that's associated with that, as well as the opportunities that's there. Data centers don't bring in a whole bunch of jobs, but they do bring in economic opportunity. But we are astutely aware of us wanting to preserve our focus on making sure we are environmental friendly, as well as making sure that we're able to preserve our efforts through our new UDC and things of that nature to keep our city as green as possible.
Well, whoever's trying to sell us on it, that sheet points out that the job creation is not what they say as a rule, because there won't be that many full-time jobs.
It will not.
And the water usage, do those places in Atlanta recycle their water?
They do. And so one of the parameters that we're putting in our ordinance is that closed loop situation, so that they can be able to use less water. And so that was one thing that we were very aware of as far as working to put this together.
Well, I think this spring, one of the points on that is that particularly in drought-prone areas, and I thought, well, apparently we're one of those now. So, we had a drought.
We did.
And may still have one. So,
yes.
Yeah, I think the water usage and taking care of all of that before permission is given
And the one thing I will say is that this is just the start of it.
I know.
And, you know, if we need to make additional adjustments, I'm quite sure this council has shown itself that it does not mind making game time adjustments. So as of right now, I think that they've done a great job as far as setting up what we have, because we are addressing water usage with the closed loop system. We decreased the footprint from the 200 acres down to 50 acres. So that means that only a certain type could come. But I feel that, whether it's this body or another government body, if they need to make the necessary adjustments to be able to preserve the character of our community, I feel that they will do so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, is there anybody else to speak for? I did not. Ma'am, would you state your name for the record?
Virginia Russell.
Yeah, there you go. We just needed her to say it.
Pardon?
We just needed you to say it so that we can get it down.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor, Councilmember. My name is David Moore Goodknife of the Boatmakers Venice Clouds. I'm a member of the Greener Borough Commission and been thinking a lot on the topic, and I thank Sherry for inviting me in and recruiting me into the Greener Borough.
That's right.
I kind of look at my life experiences and I see this gold rush going on. And just thinking about one industry I participated in was the music industry. And it was back when we had 8-track.
Yeah, let's go way back.
Back when we went back.
I don't even want to talk about 8-track.
But they said, oh, we're going to cassette tapes. But then I had an executive of Capitol Records say, well, they already got these CDs. But they would lose the business of selling all the cassette recorders, all the cassette tapes, and all that before we release the CD.
Yeah.
And now we don't even have CDs, we just have it on our phone. So that analogy is close to what we're here with these data centers.
Yeah.
Having mentored many scientists and physicians, there's so much new that's coming out that I suggest that the council take their time. One of the things I loved about Statesboro was it was a dry county because they were taking their time, but that we do this with the data centers. We don't even know what the EMFs of the 5G are, how they're affecting us. We haven't even come to that conclusion. And as I've stated in the Greener Borough Commission, our culture is based on, let's do it and see if we get sued. Then we fix it, or let's see if the cancer rate escalates. So I caution you again that we pay attention. Elon Musk is talking about putting them up in the sky so there's no heating and cooling or energy issues. There's so much new technology or buried technology. We wouldn't have any impacts on our electric grid if all those patents that have been suppressed under national security, the 0-point energy was utilized. Go ahead, do it. You got your own energy. But we should let that evolve, and that is my recommendation, to be calm and steady and make sure that it doesn't impact the citizens of Statesboro and Polk County financially with the electric bill. Additionally, I do want to mention there is a little bit of fear associated with the data center and surveillance. The surveillance state needs the data center. And I'm concerned about our rights, and being surveilled upon. I don't think that's what our country was founded upon. Thank you for letting me share and voicing my opinion.
Thank you. Anybody else for or against? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to, council discussion. Any discussion from council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you, David, and Virginia, and everybody I've heard from in the last couple of weeks, the input, concern about data centers. Thank you to staff, and especially to staff for being responsive to some of the input we've gotten. I think we do have a more stringent, more workable model now, but I'm concerned that we didn't have ample opportunity to look at it in advance. So my recommendation is that we don't just pass it forward. Because if we pass it forward tonight, next time there won't be a public hearing. Is that right? Second reading is not a public hearing? There would still be? There would not be. Okay. And I want there to be ample opportunity for folks who are concerned about a data center coming here and the ramifications to be able to see the whole thing, to have that available to them. The way it's been modified, the way we just heard about earlier this afternoon. So my suggestion would be that we carry it over, carry it forward, whatever the best, cleanest way to do that is, so people have an opportunity to comment before we put our stamp of approval at first reading.
Would it be?
We're in council discussion. If you will, I'll give you a point of privilege after we finish council discussion. I said, I'm trying to say that. Any further discussion by council? Mr.
Mayor, to Ms. Barr's point, I guess the question is, are you going to have another public hearing? It's one thing to, you don't have to vote tonight, but we advertise this for the public hearing. So are you saying you want to have another public hearing? Or, and that's the council's prerogative if you want to have another public hearing, but staff would just need to know. You can move forward to June 2nd, but again, June 2nd is a morning meeting. And so if you don't do it, if you don't have the reading tonight, then if you're gonna have a public hearing, you're gonna do it at a 9 o'clock meeting, or you're gonna push it to the second meeting in June to have a public hearing, which is an evening meeting.
Look, council, what do y'all say?
Is the hearing just for them to review the modifications that we just did, or that's what we're just waiting on?
Yeah. Help me understand why we can't do that at the next meeting. Just go back through the adjustments that we made.
Certainly can. I mean, whether it's presented as first reading with the modifications.
Yeah.
That was what's presented.
Yeah, today the modifications was presented publicly today.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mayor, instead of a public hearing, you could be with it on the agenda. Anyone that wanted to comment could comment under the public comment section before you actually vote versus having a public hearing. But it's really up to y'all.
Yeah, I don't like to string things out. I mean, we've already done what we said we was going to do as far as transparency with the community. And so whether we put, we've discussed it publicly, we've made the recommendations publicly. And so I don't want to see this, we're at the end of May. And so now we're talking about a public hearing in June, another hearing at the end of June. And so, and we already got enough on our plates already. We got some major decisions. I'm fine with them. I'm fine with us moving forward and then just making sure that we read through to the public everything that was already discussed today, so they can understand what that final product is. That's what I'm fine with. But again, it's at the leisure of council.
Mr. Mayor, I'm for that too, but I think what Ms. Barr was asking is, at the next meeting, are we gonna have a public hearing where people can get up?
Yeah, we can do that. I can do that.
Okay.
With a point of privilege. Yeah, we can cover that with a point of privilege.
That's what I thought, that's what I want to people, because that's when people are gonna come up
Yeah.
And start talking once they've heard about it.
Yeah. So we can do that with a point of privilege, from the chair. That's not a problem at all.
Thank you, Mr. Riggs and Mr. McCullough. My concern is, if we pass it forward, this is what we've approved. And we may allow people to stand up and say what they think of it next time, but we still, they don't have any input into it. We've already said we approved it today.
Yeah, we still can make adjustments after that. If we get to the next one and someone say something, hey, look, did you guys think about this? And we say, no, we did. Then guess what we can do? Then we can kick it down the road and say, hey, look, let's make that adjustment. So nothing is final until we cast that vote at second reading. So this doesn't stop us from being able to make the necessary adjustments moving forward. What this does, what I don't, and you know me, I don't like to prolong anything. And I think that, we've traveled to Atlanta, we've talked to communities, we've done a whole lot of stuff in regards to data centers. We've had work sessions, we've done a lot. And so at this point right now, and we're still saying we're going to allow folks at the second reading to be able to voice their opinions. So this is not no snap judgment. We've been doing this for months. So at this point right now, and here's the truth of the matter. If they was that concerned about it, they'll be here right now. Because they knew we were discussing data centers.
So folks I'm aware of who were concerned about it have been.
Nobody has reached out to me. Not one person. Not one single person out of 35,252 people, not one person has called me up or sent me an email saying, Mayor, I'm concerned about data centers. Not one person.
My thing
So, have they reached out to you?
No.
To Councilwoman?
No.
John?
No. I reach out to them.
Yeah, well, no, I'm talking about in regards to that. Yeah, well, I'm going to come talk to a guy that's done over 20 town halls. So that's the thing is that we haven't heard anything. And the folks that's here, they've said what they've got to say. And so at this point right now, I don't think they're going to object to us reducing the footprint from 200 acres down to 50. I don't think they're going to object to us saying that we want them to have looped water. Like all of the adjustments that we could make, we did. We've already done that. And so at this point right now, to kick it down the road, it's an opportunity. We've been doing this for months, and so we just continuously prolong it. So that's what my thought process is. But I'll turn it over to Councilmember Riggs.
In my experience, most people don't hear about it at the first reading.
Mm-hmm.
But once it comes up in the newspaper on Thursday,
yeah,
I'm gonna start getting phone calls.
You're
gonna start getting phone calls.
So.
And that's why we have first and second reading.
Yeah.
And so I'm still good with what we have. I'm ready to move forward now.
Yeah.
But I'll be accepting phone calls, and if those people want to come up and speak at the next at the second reading, I just want to be able to come up and say their piece.
Listen, if we don't do nothing, even people that I absolutely do not agree with what they got to say, we do not stop them from talking. And so we want to hear from everybody. So, that will not be impeded upon. Mr. Thank you.
Mayor, members of the council, and to the public, I think one of the most important aspects of the ordinance that you are considering is the fact that data centers is not a use by right in any of the zones.
Mm-hmm.
In order for any data center to be approved, it requires a special use permit.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be the most glamorous special data center, and if this council votes not to approve it, it cannot be. And so, and we looked at the county's draft, and theirs was a use by right, which is very different. Use by right means you can't refuse it. But in this case, that's not what you're doing. No matter how many data centers come in, what this council is saying, you're going to hear every one of them, and if you decide it's not right, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So, any further discussion from council?
Yeah, I'm with moving it forward, especially if we, kind of looked at,
the changes and adopted some of those changes. Yeah, I would enforce. The thing that I was concerned about was the 200 to the 50. I think that was a big change that I'm in agreement with.
Yeah.
Because we don't even have land for those 200.
Yeah.
If it's a land like where we.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah. So any further discussion by council?
Let me clarify, you're saying that we will have a discussion period at second reading if it moves forward tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, is there a motion to move forward with the second reading?
So moved.
All right, let me rephrase that. Is there a motion to move forward with the second reading with the recommendations from council?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll go down to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2026-19, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the Georgia Department of Transportation Local Road Assistance Grant application for fiscal year 2026. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, this is something that we do annually. We have funds that are provided by GDOT in order for us to be able to maintain our roads. And we're asking permission to apply for those funds. I think it's about $460,000 that we would be applying for. We would recommend approval.
All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2026-20, a resolution authorizing execution of documents with Queensboro Bank relating to a refunding revenue bond necessary to finance the installation of public infrastructure on the Old West Road tab. Mr. Pierce.
I want to make sure, do I need to yield to the attorney or?
I think Mr. Pennell would probably be appropriate.
And we've had him sitting there, he needs to earn his money.
He needs to earn both of those.
Well, thank you, Mr. Penny. John Pennell, acting as bond counsel to the city of Statesboro. As y'all, I think, discussed in the work session, this is a refinancing of the old registered TAD bond, which matures in August. The city does not have the funds from the TAD, obviously, to pay this off in full, so this would refinance it for a 10-year period through Queensboro Bank. Y'all's financial advisor has advised the city that this is a favorable interest rate, favorable terms, and so with this new lender, the city is able to pay this down early, and so the plan is as you do have mandatory payments due on the bond, but as you got increased revenues coming off that tax allocation district, you can pay it down, hopefully be able to pay it off before it matures. So that's the goal. We do need for the council to approve the bond resolution that authorizes the refinancing bond. We will then go through the bond validation process, which is a procedure through the Superior Court. And assuming all that goes well, the plan is to close on the refinancing June the 15th. At that time, the proceeds of the new bond will be used to pay off the old bond, and the new bond will be issued.
Just one clarification, that's a 20-year.
Excuse me, 20-year, you're right.
All right, any discussion by council? All right, seeing there's none. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's a good thing. And we do want to thank our partners at Queensboro Bank. And we want to thank you guys as well for putting all your efforts towards this. We're going to go down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2026-21, a resolution authorizing and directing the city of Statesboro to appropriate available and uncommitted funds in its budget for the current fiscal year and future fiscal year budgets in the amount equal to the sum and any deficiency in the payment of debt service. If any, on the city of Statesboro, Georgia Tax Allocation District Refunding Revenue Bond Series 2026 anticipated to be issued and delivered on or about June 15th. Mr. King.
Mr. Quinn,
I'll get this one.
Okay.
Mayor and Council, this is just a resolution that we would pledge any future that we would authorize the that we direct funds to be used to pay for the revenue bond in the event that those TAD revenues were not sufficient. We have to do a similar resolution like this with our truest one previously, and so this is pretty standard practice.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by council?
Good to have returns.
Any discussion by council? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move down to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Statesboro and the Development Authority of Bullock County to continue the business recruiter position. Mr. Bennett.
Mayor, members of the council, we discussed this earlier at the work session. And what you have before you is an agreement with the Development Authority of Bullock County to relocate our business recruiter that is currently located at the Business Innovation Group. It would then move to the Development Authority. And I do recommend approval of this arrangement. Now, this will also be pending approval by the Development Authority on June 9th when they have their regular meeting. And the effective date of this change will be July 1st of 2026, but we do recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion to award a 3-year contract with the option to renew for 2 additional years on a year-to-year basis for property and casualty and workers' compensation insurance, brokerage services to Gallagher. Mr. Penny, you want to give us some insight on this?
Mayor and members of the council, we went out for qualifications, request for qualifications for broker services, and these are related to our general liability insurance, and so we're recommending Gallagher and Sean Davis is sitting here, and they would be the ones that we would be negotiating with, and they'll go out and pull together a deal on that coverage, but it would be a 3-year agreement that they would represent us. We received 3 proposals, and Gallagher is the one that we recommend you authorize us to contract with and move forward.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 15, consideration of motion to approve contract amendment number 2 with Cranston Engineering in the amount of $29,900 for engineering design service for ENG 92 West Main Streetscape to be funded by 2018 T-SPLOST funds. Mr. Penny.
Member of the council, we're going to be doing the West Main Street project, and this is the firm that does the design, and this is, I think, maybe the second change order for this project to deal with them. If you know that area, especially West Main, when you up by Bull and Barrel and going down toward College, you have a change in elevation and all that, and so this will provide funding so they can get the right design for that sidewalk, and so we do recommend this approval of this change order.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, we're going to open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're going to move over to public comments. We have one person signed up for public comments, and that's Mr. Jamie Shavers.
How y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Not to divert, switch topics. I like what you guys talking about. But I'm here as a concerned parent because, you know, my daughter, I have 3 kids go to Statesboro High. And my daughter's in the 11th grade. And I hear you guys talking about the future of Statesboro. You know, I moved from Florida to give my kids a better life. And, you know, not to elaborate too much, but my daughter was arrested at Statesboro High. She was assaulted by a student. And the student assaulted her, and they arrested my daughter and expelled her from Statesboro High and sent her to the TLC for the remainder of the year and the first semester next year. And I don't know what it is that you guys can do, but this situation at Statesboro High needs to be addressed because my daughter's 11th grade she's gonna be a senior. And since that incident happened, it happened April the 2nd, 2026, my daughter don't wanna go outside. Her mom asked her, what did she learn from this situation? And she said that she can't defend herself. So I asked the administrators at the school, at what time is a child allowed to defend themselves? You know, and as a concerned parent, I'm just asking for fairness, transparency, and we were not able to get all the footage from, and when we went to the disciplinary hearing, it's like they didn't even consider my daughter's an honest student. She hasn't been in trouble since we've been here. She's been the subject of bullying. And I don't feel as though the staff at that school is addressing the situation. And, you know, as you guys are here for the future of Statesboro, I consider my kids part of the future.
That's right.
And I just wish that something could be done and addressed because I went to the principal and not to just target an individual, but he told me he's the sole captain of the ship. And I just asked him, I said, well, why didn't you do a thorough investigation? My daughter was placed in handcuffs, brought out of the room, slammed up against the wall in the hallway while she was in handcuffs. She got a bruise on her face. Like, I just feel as though right now as a parent, I'm hopeless because I don't know who to turn to, and I'm just asking that if something can be addressed about this issue.
And what I want to do is, Mr. Penny, if you and Chief could get together with Mr. Shavers after the meeting to see if we can see what we can, you know, find out about the situation. And then Mr. Penny, I want to turn it over to you to give us a little insight.
Yeah, but I was just gonna ask if we could get his telephone number, so that we can get with them because.
I appreciate it. I have video footage. I have everything that's needed.
Okay.
Could you give Jason your name?
Jason, you give Mr. Shavers.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Is there anyone else for public comments? Okay. I want to go to other business from city council. Is there any other business from city council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure Mr. Penny will cover several things upcoming that I'm aware of, but I did want to just do a shout out for Allen and the DSDA that they're being recertified as a Main Street USA city. We're very proud of the work y'all do and what you do to make Statesboro healthy and beautiful and fun to live in. Thank you.
I do want to extend, do we have any other council comments before we go to city manager comments? Okay. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, I have several items. So Ms. Barr, you did take one of mine, so that's okay. Congratulations to Alan. Couple of things I did want to mention. I'll leave the FYI stuff alone, but I did want to just mention to council, we will have at the next meeting, it'll be a public hearing on the budget. And I presented the budget to y'all on, I think the 12th of May. And at that time, shared with you a budget that, with a recommendation on how to balance the budget. Since that time, I shared with y'all some additional information. What I shared with you is that in order to be able to balance the budget due to the cost of covering the fire department, and I shared with you that when Bullock County made a decision last year to dissolve the fire district, they had a $2.7 million negative impact on the city's budget. We funded the fire department through intergovernmental loans this year, but that's not sustainable. And so we presented a balanced budget to you, which would require some additional taxes in order to be able to cover that cost. Since that time, I also shared with you that would mean that it really would be a 1 year increase in our taxes because of floss that would come in. So tonight, what I wanted to share with the council and with the public is that it does look like some of the floss funds would be available to us sooner. The state started receiving those funds in January, so I don't have the exact numbers, but I did just want to share with you that it looks like we may be able to get 5 or 6 months worth of floss funds, and we were anticipating about $3.4 million in floss funds next year. So we may get as much as 1.7 this year, 1.6. And if that's the case, that does reduce what we might need as far as a millage rate increase is to cover that, the fire department. The other thing that might occur is we're just getting digest information from Bullitt County, and we use a very conservative number of 8% adjustment for the tax digest. That number may increase, and so with the tax digest being maybe a little bit higher than the 8%, that might also help reduce what we need as far as the millage rate is required. So in order to, if the council is not interested, and not asking you tonight, if you're not interested in increasing the millage rate in order to be able to fund the fire department, I do need to have some indication from you, because it would require a couple of things from me. In order to be able to balance the budget and to come up with $4 million, it would require serious cutting of our city budget. And as I shared with Ms. Barr, our city budget and our general fund budget does not have a lot of extra cash in it. The general fund is about 75% personnel related costs. We don't have general capital. Our capital improvement funds are not included in that general fund. If we had capital improvement items funded out of general tax dollars, we could delay some things, but we just don't have that. Capital improvement items are paid for with SPLOS funds. SPLOS funds cannot be used to pay for operations of the city. So in order to cut the budget, it would require me to cut personnel. And when looking at the budget, it would require a reduction of about 60 people. So I'm saying to the council, in preparation for the June 2nd meeting, if I need to go back and cut the budget, I can do that. But I'm just sharing what it would take, and that would be across the general fund budget. That's not the enterprise funds, that's the general fund. But we're talking roughly 60 people that I would have to recommend to you that we would have to. It's not something that I would enjoy doing, but it is something that I would do if you asked me to do that. The other thing you could do is we could have a serious drawdown of our general fund dollars, of our general fund. And in 2008, the city was down in the general fund at $90,000. Today we sit at about $6.7 million. That is right at 25% of what our budget is. And then the new budget, I told you, because of the fire department and the funding, In order to really be at 25%, we need to be at $8 million. But we didn't try to force the budget to increase taxes to cover that. So you could spend $4 million out of the general fund. So then you draw the 6.7 million down to about 2 million. I wouldn't recommend that either, because if you had a major disaster, you wouldn't have cash to cover that. So I am just identifying possible ways to cut funds if we don't want to increase the millage rate. So the millage rate is not set in June or June. The millage rate is set in September, late August, September. But for planning purposes, if I need to do anything else, I just need direction from council. And so I am just asking tonight.
What, you do not have direction from me to do that. We've been talking about this for 18 months. And I want to be clear, because I think it's time for us, we got to be very clear how we got here. 18 months ago, without warning or notification, the county entered a 47-year agreement with the city of Statesboro to provide fire services to the fire district. A 47-year contract. 18 months ago, we said very clearly, if you do this, this is going to increase the cost of fire across the entire county. Not just for the city of Statesboro, not just for Register and Brooklyn and Portal, the entire county. And what we have seen over the course of those 18 months is that everything related to fire has increased by millions of dollars. We said then that this was not a smart, let me just be very clear. We said this was a dumb move and it was going to hurt a lot of people. And this is where we are today. The county is facing an $8 million deficit. We're facing a $4 million deficit. And it's all because the decision to end a 47-year fire agreement was done. That was absolutely asinine. And I just got to be straightforward, Statesboro, you know what you're voting for. And so we got to be very clear with that. And so this right here, the issue that we're facing is man-made. It is man-made. And so it is not incumbent upon the city of Statesboro to reduce its staff by 20%. I would not support that. And so we got to be very clear about how we got here, how we're going to have to navigate this. And still to this day, I don't understand why more people didn't show up when we were fighting to maintain that agreement. But a very bad decision was made at that point. And we said that this is what we said very clearly, that this was what was going to happen. And now it is here. And I don't know why, because fire service, we had a top tier fire service that went 5 miles around the city of Statesboro. And so that meant approximately, if I'm not mistaken, I think 70% of the people in Bullock County lived inside the city of Statesboro and that 5 mile district. And now, as a result of ending that contract, the cost of fire has gone up for everybody within this county. And now we're facing some very tough decisions. But these decisions, where we are today, is very clear. What we said was going to happen, it is happening. The other caveat with this, and I don't live in the county, so I don't know if this has occurred yet, but if individuals may see increases in their home insurance because of the higher ratings that the folks in the county have now because of that poor decision. I wish that was a decision that was not made, but to reduce our staff by 60 and then have to turn right back around and hire those individuals back, well, some individuals back, that's gonna cost more money over the long term. And so that's what I have to say about that. And I'll turn it over to council in case they got anything that they wanna add, or if there's any direction they would like to, ask the city manager to go in.
I'm not in agreement with cutting 60 staff members. These people trying to feed their families.
Yeah.
I'm just not for that. Like, I've preached this. When we were faced with this the first time to increase this millage rate, I preached to y'all. I told y'all, let's do it this one time so we wouldn't be here. And we failed to do that. So I don't have anything else to say in this matter.
And so John, I saw you raise your hand.
I'm in agreement with the, budget proposed last week.
Yeah.
Well, the 12th.
That was last week.
Last week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
Also want to say, if the county had come to us 5 years ago and said, look, in 5 years, we want to take over the entire fire district, we could have made that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't have had to raise that, we wouldn't have to raise the millage rate. But instead, they just sent us an email, and said, we're cutting it, we're stopping.
John, I like to stop.
If they could have said, let's look in the future, we don't want y'all to be out in the county.
John, we're going to stop. We didn't even get an email. We just showed up to the meeting and found out right then that the fire, that's how we found out. And even in that moment, my suggestion was really clear. Let's give this 1 year before we do anything so we can figure out how can we fund this. 1 year. I might as well have been talking to her. And so this is where we are right now. And again, this was an agreement that was together for 47 years. And I want to be very clear about this. When that decision was made, because I believe in operating in the truth, and I want Statesboro to know exactly how this transpired. In that meeting, the then county manager, Tom Couch, was not at that meeting. The then county chairman, Roy Thompson, was not at that meeting. So this was a decision that was made in the absence of the chair and the county manager. That's what occurred. And we had a change in leadership, and with that change in leadership, there was no change in direction of what was made of the conversation that was made in that meeting. And what you're going to hear in this is that they're going to come and say, well, we said that we would take half and then then let the city do the other half. That's double taxation. What they was asking for the city residents to do is to pay for fire services at the full tier for folks that lived in the county without compensation. That's what they asked. They was asking for the citizens of Statesboro to be double taxed. That's what their resolution was. And so we have to be very clear on that as well. They want us to provide a service for free. And that's not what we could not in clear conscience agree with that. Yeah. Anybody else? Is there anything you want the city manager to do in regards to the budget?
Mr. Penny, I'm just gonna tell you, we're not letting off 60 people.
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel, I can't say we, I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah. Yeah, and let me say this right here. We know this is tough. And let me tell you, leadership matters. Leadership matters. And I'm going to say this is Jonathan McCullough, this ain't nobody else. Our gas is high. Our groceries are high. All of these things that we're facing every single day, the cost of living has gone up tremendously. Leadership matters. Leadership, I can't express that enough. Leadership matters. And we have to have people that understand you just don't make decisions in silos when you run government, and that's at any level. whether it's Main Street, Atlanta, or Washington DC. There is no decision that's made in a silo. Everything touches everything. Mr. Penn.
So Mayor, members of the council, again, the good thing for the budget is the floss. And the floss, this momentary blip is a 1 year thing. With floss, basically you just return back to where you are. But I appreciate your discussion and we'll leave things as they are. Next item I just want to mention.
Ms. Mo?
Yeah, man. My dogs are gonna be upset with me because they've been put up since 1 o'clock, so. The Chief Mike is in the back and Chief Mike has announced his retirement, so he'll be retiring on July 1st. And so with that being said, I did want to just let council know that we have engaged Development Associates to begin the process of trying to replace, fill that position. What that will include, we would do focus groups with city employees in the police department. We will also do, they will talk with the mayor and council, get your input in the characteristics that y'all think are important. And then we will, after we do that, then we'll start advertising the position. But I have a little time before I have to appoint an interim. I just wanted to make y'all aware that we'll be moving forward with Development Associates. They were responsible for the process when we hired Chief Mike. And so we'll just go back and follow that process again. And with that, I think I've said enough.
Chief, thank you for everything. And let me tell you, I'm going to say, and I can say this now since he retired. Chief is the smartest local law enforcement individual I've ever met in my life. That man knows this business. He has a heart for the people, and the city of Statesboro was extremely fortunate to have him serve. So Chief, thank you so much. And I know you got sick of my text messages, screenshots. The mayor snitch y'all. The mayor sees something, he gonna tell you. But Chief, thank you so much for everything. And I wanna make sure, Chief, if you don't mind, if we can put together a reception for Chief. And just to show the honor and respect that we have for him. If you don't mind, Chief. Thank you. All right. Anything else, Mr. King?
I don't have anything.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you. All right, so I guess we're about to exercise the point of privilege now. So exercise the point of privilege.
Well, I want to take this time to inform the mayor, my fellow council members, and the citizens of Statesboro. It is with deep gratitude and sincere reflection that I submit my resignation from the City of Statesboro City Council, effective immediately. Serving this community has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I'm trying not to get
Michael, come forward.
I'm truly thankful for the trust placed in me by the residents of the city and for the opportunity to work alongside dedicated leader, staff, community members who care about our city. Throughout my time on council, I have witnessed the strength, resilience, and compassion to make this community special. Together, Together, we have celebrated victories, we've faced challenges, and work diligently to create positive change for our citizens. I'm proud of what we have accomplished and grateful for every conversation, partnership, and moment of service. This decision has not been easy, and after much care and consideration, I believe it's time for me to step away from this role and focus on the next season of my personal and professional journey. While I may be resigning from this official position, my love and support for this community will remain steadfast. I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to my fellow council members for your collaboration and commitment to public service. I also want to thank the city employees whose hard work often goes unseen, but is essential for the success of the city. I want to thank my family and friends who have stood and supported me through the toughest seasons of my life. And most importantly, I want to thank the citizens for allowing me to serve you. Your voices, concerns, and hopes have continually inspired me. I leave this position hopeful for the future of Statesboro and confident that with the strong leadership led by Mayor McCullough and community unity, we'll continue to move this city forward. May God continue to bless our city, its leaders, and every family who calls this community home.
Oh, that was tough. Paulette, I'm gonna use a point of personal privilege. You have been a shining light for this council. You treated people with so much kindness, so much sweetness, and we thank you for that. We know that we've been through a lot. When Paulette came on, she was part of a trio. And I thank God that He led that path your way. The things that we've done in this community, we could not have done without you. You leave a legacy, and I think it's only appropriate that at this meeting we had our first graduating class of our youth program. If we look back on the number of homes that we've been able to rebuild and refurbish, the parks, the roads, the sidewalks, the community garden, all of the great things that we've been able to do, and you being a part of it. And I don't know who's gonna step up and be the ad hoc queen or king, John, but anytime we needed to put our ad hoc community together, Councilmember Shavis was first to step up to do so. And Statesboro, I want y'all to know this is not easy work. And it's not everything that you guys see in social media. It's not. These folks work. And Paulette, thank you for your kindness. And if you was going with anybody else other than Michael, I'll be upset. But there's nothing more beautiful when two good people get together and able to live their life. And so thank y'all so much, Michael. Thank you for sharing her with us. Michelle, I see you back there. I just want you to know your sister loves you. Absolutely. But with that being said, thank you so much, Paulette. And Mr. Penny, I do, if it's okay with y'all, we do want to put together a reception just so that the community can come out and say thank you for everything. And so, Mr. Penny, if we can do that as well. Thank you, Paul. All right, thank you. Y'all, officer, go on. Y'all killed it. Yeah, we got a closed session. Man, y'all ain't gonna turn me loose. Okay, with that being said, is there a motion to go into executive session? What is it in regards to? Personnel. All right, is there a motion to go into executive session? Let me get my stuff together. Consider a motion for executive session in regards to personnel matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.